At first glance, Delilah seems like the villain of this story, the woman who betrayed a great man. But is she really the one to blame? Or was Samson's downfall his own doing? From the beginning, God had warned Samson's people not to marry from the surrounding nations. But Samson, stubborn and determined, ignored this command. This isn't just a story about betrayal, it's a lesson about obedience, temptation, and the consequences of our choices. The story of Samson and Delilah remains one of the most captivating in history. In the midst of the city's nightlife, where neon lights flickered and the beat of bass echoed through the streets, Samson walked into a high-end lounge one evening. The energy was electric, the air thick with conversation, music, and the clinking of cocktail glasses. It was the kind of place where people came to see and be seen, a place where power and influence were traded over drinks, and every glance could make or break you. At the bar, he spotted her. Delilah. She wasn't just another pretty face in the crowd, she had an undeniable presence. Her sleek, jet-black bob framed her face perfectly, and her deep brown eyes, lined with kohl, seemed to pierce right through him. A smile tugged at the corners of her lips as their eyes met, and for a moment, the world around them seemed to disappear. Samson was no stranger to women, but there was something different about Delilah. Maybe it was her confidence, the way she effortlessly held the room's attention with a single word. She wasn't just a woman, she was a force. Her gaze locked with his, and something inside him shifted. He walked over to her, the familiar hum of his strength and power coursing through him, but in her presence, it felt like it wasn't quite enough. They spoke, exchanged pleasantries, but beneath the surface, there was an unspoken understanding, an undeniable connection. Delilah, with her mix of charm and mystery, seemed intrigued by the man who couldn't be defeated, while Samson, though used to attention, couldn't shake the feeling that Delilah wasn't like the others. She knew how to play the game. Delilah wasn't just interested in the man, she was interested in what he represented, what he could offer. Unbeknownst to Samson, she was already being watched by those who wanted to bring him down. But at that moment, they were just two people, caught up in the flicker of city lights and the slow rhythm of the night. Imagine Samson, a warrior feared by his enemies, undefeated in battle. What was his secret? His secret was a divine vow that granted him supernatural strength, a power linked to his hair, which was never to be cut. But like many great men, Samson had a weakness, his love for women outside his faith. Enter Delilah, a woman from the city's buzzing nightlife, where power and pleasure collide. Picture a dimly lit lounge, the soft hum of jazz in the background, glasses clinking as laughter fills the air. Delilah, a striking woman with mesmerizing eyes and a voice as smooth as silk, knew how to get what she wanted. She carried herself with confidence, drawing people in with every glance. The Philistine rulers saw an opportunity. They approached Delilah in a sleek, high-rise penthouse, offering her a fortune to uncover Samson's secret. Find out where his strength comes from, and we'll make you rich. She accepted the challenge and business proposal. Samson was in his early 30s, a man whose body looked carved from stone, every muscle shaped by years of battle and divine favor. His skin, a deep bronze, was rough from the sun and the weight of his destiny. His face was strong, his jaw square and firm, with a faint scar running along his cheekbone, a reminder of the fights he had won. But his eyes told the real story. Dark, intense, filled with fire, they spoke of a man who had seen glory and pain. His gaze could make the bravest warriors tremble, yet it softened in moments of weakness. His long, thick dreadlocks flowed past his shoulders, each one a symbol of his promise to God. It wasn't just hair, it was power, heritage, and identity. He dressed like a man who commanded respect. A fitted black turtleneck hugged his muscular frame, paired with a sleek leather jacket, slightly worn from battles of a different kind. His jeans, dark and well-fitted, gave him a sharp, urban edge, while his black boots hit the pavement with quiet authority. When Samson moved, people stepped aside without him having to say a word. His voice was deep, carrying a weight that made people listen, but underneath it all, there was restlessness, a longing for something more. Night after night, in a luxurious suite with a view of the glowing city skyline, Delilah played her game. Draped in silk, she leaned in close, her voice soft and sweet. "Tell me, Samson, where does your great strength come from?" she whispered. Samson, amused by her persistence, toyed with her. The first time, he told her, "If they tie me up with 7 fresh bowstrings, I'll be as weak as any other man." That night, as he slept, men in dark suits waited in the shadows, ready to strike. But when she called out, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you," he snapped the bowstrings effortlessly. The second time, he said, "If they tie me with brand new ropes that have never been used, I'll be powerless." Again, Delilah set the trap, but Samson easily broke free. The third time, he claimed, "If you weave my hair into a loom and fasten it with a pin, my strength will leave me." As the city lights flickered through the window, Delilah carefully wove his thick locks into fabric, securing them tightly. But when she called the ambush, Samson awoke and pulled his hair free, leaving the trap useless. Yet, Delilah was relentless. "How can you say you love me when you won't trust me?" she pouted, pressing him every day until he was completely worn down. Finally, exhausted, Samson gave in. "My strength is in my hair. If it is cut, I will be as weak as any other man." That night, as neon lights flickered outside, Samson lay asleep on Delilah's plush velvet couch. She gave the signal. A man stepped out from the shadows, scissors gleaming under the chandelier's glow. With every snip, Samson's power slipped away. His strength was gone. When he woke up, men in black suits grabbed him, rough hands yanking him to his feet. They took his sight and locked him away in a cold, dark prison. Samson, the mighty warrior, had fallen, not on the battlefield, but in the arms of a woman he trusted. But was Delilah really the villain? Or had Samson sealed his own fate the moment he disobeyed God? Samson's enemies humiliated him. Blinded and weak, he was forced to grind grain in prison, treated like a slave. But as time passed, something remarkable happened. His hair began to grow back. One day, the Philistines held a great celebration in their temple, honoring their god Dagon for delivering Samson into their hands. Thousands gathered, laughing and mocking the once mighty warrior. They brought Samson out to entertain them, making a spectacle of his suffering. But in that moment of weakness, Samson turned to God one last time. "Lord, remember me, strengthen me just once more, so that with this final act, I may take revenge on my enemies." Guided by a young servant, Samson placed his hands on the massive pillars supporting the temple. With a deep breath, he pushed with all his might. The ground rumbled, the pillars cracked, and in an instant, the temple came crashing down, killing everyone inside, including Samson himself. In death, he defeated more enemies than he had in life. His story ended not in shame, but in redemption, proving that even in our weakest moments, God's power can still work through us. And so, Delilah's name lives on, not as a hero, but as a symbol of betrayal. But was she truly the villain? Or was she just caught in a dangerous game between kings and warriors? One thing is for sure, her actions changed history forever. So, what do you think? Was Delilah truly the villain, or was she simply caught in a web of fate?